Okay, this is our other attempt at it. We've tried 3 times. But yes, so we're going to be doing a little tour of our electric motor.
Welcome everybody to our live video that actually takes place in our boat.
Which is why the technical issue is because we're using cell phone data.
Cell phone data, yeah.
Yes.
So this is our first time trying to do a live video with a cell phone data with a card from El Ejido, and so we're just waiting for some people to figure out that our last live session failed and we are on a new one. Yay! Welcome,
Yes.
people.
Sorry, so I'm not very techie.
Yeah,
And I
we
failed
struggle.
at it.
We struggle. We're sailors, not computer wizards.
No.
So welcome to our discussion of our electric motor, and we have discussed it in the past before, but we've never discussed it in a live format and in such detail because we now have 5 years under our belt with this electric motor, and 3 of them have been full-time cruising. So we feel like we have a really good understanding of it, and we have no regrets.
And the other reason that we feel we have a very good understanding of it is I did a rebuild in an afternoon.
That's true.
Yeah. So after that, it's like, okay, like you have something, you use something, but you don't really know it until you break it. And we broke it.
We broke it.
So.
We don't really know how we broke it, but it broke.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick. Good to hear from you.
Yeah. So we were in northern Portugal. We sailed from the Azores to Portugal. Motor worked. When we were in Portugal, at some point, the motor died. But it's actually 2 motors, and you guys will see this in a moment.
We do have both units working again, Jeff.
Yeah, so
thanks to Herbie and our repair.
Yeah, so literally one of the motors died of the 2-motor setup, and we just flew with the new motor as a replacement as a suitcase. Oh, hey, Joe. Hi to California.
So it was a really strange sensation flying to the boat with a suitcase that was our motor.
Yeah. Raised a few red flags.
It was like, only about, it was like this big.
Well, actually, they'll see it in a second.
Yeah, you'll see it.
So what happened, we don't know. It just stopped working. It was giving some codes. Yeah. I contacted the company. They're like, that means a couple things. The screws to the last option were like rusted shut, probably from salt, which probably is what killed the motor. And
when in doubt.
Yeah, so then he just gave us the replacement motor because warranties. And yeah, so all I had to do was bolt it on, and it was only 8 bolts. It was 2 sets of 4 to do the whole motor.
So the interesting thing actually is that our electric motor is comprised of 2 motors, 2 separate motors. So only one of those motors broke and was throwing a code. The other motor was fine, and so we were able to motor at half capacity.
Shall we just show them the motor?
We can.
Yeah, let's. To the motor. So it's all opened up. It normally is like all covered and you don't see anything, which is why we've never done videos about the electric motor and showing it, because it's not very interesting looking. So but now it's open.
So this is about to get a little shaky because we're actually going to physically carry you guys over to the motor. I'm going to carry you while Herbie opens up the floor.
Just keep it on the candle.
Oh, I'll keep it on the candle. We have you on a candle.
Yeah. You are the light of our lives. Okay. So,
hang on.
You could also just
I'm working on. Oh, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
All right.
All right, we flipped.
Okay. So, first off, this is a replacement controller for the motor. It's by Sevcon. Comes in this bag full of grease, and it's just going to live in that bag. Thankfully, it wasn't dead. The manufacturer sent us one of these as well, just in case. The motor. This was our suitcase. The motor itself is this.
So that's the dead one.
Yeah, this is the dead one.
And that's the one that we're going to be bringing back to the company, probably just by sailing with it on our boat.
Yep, because they need it back for the core. And they're very lenient with us on, getting it back to them. Because shipping that would be a nightmare. He's like, well, just ship it in your boat. So that's coming. All right. So the motor lives here.
There she is. Surprisingly, she doesn't actually have a name.
Yeah. She doesn't have a name.
More on
That's
that
weird.
later.
Okay. So, this is the motor. So it's actually two systems, and you can see the new one. Can they see the new one?
Yeah.
Okay, the new one down here, not rusty. The old one, a little corroded. It's got some corrosion going on. So it happens.
Patrick
Okay.
has commented on your
yes.
hair. He says nice hair.
Ah, thank you. Oh, by the way, the beard is coming off. I just haven't shaved in a long time.
Herbie also has quite the sandal tan.
Yeah. Sexy. Okay, wait. Let me get a good Lucy that's got charge.
So you can see this is the Herbie just mentioned, but in case you missed it, this is the motor that we just now replaced, and that's the one that we still have, the original one that still works. So those are the, hello Zamboni, good to see you.
Okay, so, ooh, this is going to be my pointer for the lesson. Here we are. Okay, so the motor, it's a 20 kilowatt system.
Hey Corey, good to see you.
Which means that it's two 10 kilowatt systems. So this is one motor that's 10 kilowatts, and this is its controller, and then this is the other controller and the other 10 kilowatt motor. So they both hook up together to the same shaft. So combined, you get 20 kilowatts.
We should say that this is an electric yacht, quiet torque 20.
Yeah, actually, I'll go get the nameplate.
It's all right.
That's that way they can see it.
Okay,
Thanks.
going to get the nameplate. Electric sailing boat power. Woo!
Okay, so is it backwards for you guys too?
Probably.
Huh. All right. So
For all others waiting on YouTube on another chat announcement. Oh no!
yeah, sorry. So I tried a bunch of times.
We're really bad at this.
Yeah, this is my third attempt to get the live video to go, and
Oh, it's
good,
not backwards. Good,
okay.
good.
So this is one of the dust shields, as you can see, and this one has a sticker, which it's hilarious because this is down in the bilge, and like no one can see this ever. But anyway, this is our exact motor. So 48 volts. Hey Joe.
Install the waist level for.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, mine's like, well, down there in the hole, as you can see. So, yes, this is the motor we have. Okay.
All right, back down to the motor.
Back into the hole. All right. So, the way it works, can they see down to there?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see...
Down and dirty in Wisdom's
Yeah.
bilge.
So, this guy right here, does it show?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the pulley on the top of the motor, and then down at the bottom, there's another pulley. Trying to get light in here for you guys.
It's
There
working.
it is. Yeah. So then down at the bottom where that shiny part is right there, that's the shaft. There's another pulley. So both motors hook up to the same thing in tandem, and then they just spin it along.
Thank you, Alan. That means a lot. Alan told everybody about our
Yes.
about being here. Does it need cooling?
So it's air cooled, which is really good because then we don't have to do anything because it does it itself. So in the back here, this big air gap is actually a fan inside there. So as the motor turns, it cools itself. So we don't have to do anything. Any other questions?
It is super crowded, that motor.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
So
it's
it looks
really
like a ton of wires,
overwhelming. Yeah.
but it's actually not that bad. So, all right. So this is the whole setup.
Your knees just cracked so hard.
Yeah. Okay. So all the wires. You have this one, which goes to... Well, one of these goes to the throttle quadrant outside. The other one goes to the display unit outside. So those aren't really that big a deal. Then, everything is double. So as you can see, there's these 3 wires that run. Well, we can look at these 3. So these 3 wires run to these 3 ports on the motor. Yeah, so these 3 go to these 3. Then the motor has this multi-plug on it. That multi-plug goes to this guy. And then all of them hook up. Well, there's a little block here that has some ports on it. And it's got this big thing of wire that comes out, and that wire simply hooks on to these plugs that are on the side. So it's really not that much. Off the sides, you have the solenoids over here, so it's just 2 wires that lead to them, and then the wires that go to the motors themselves. So these are from the battery bank. So it's really not that bad. We've done a lot of work on this motor, because when we were going down the ICW, this is the piece that kept frying on us when we were running the generator and running the motor at the same time.
Yeah, it says that you can do that,
yeah.
but we 3 times in a row
we fried it.
We fried it by running the generator and the motor at the same time, so we realized that that is not really an option.
Yeah, so the manufacturer insists that the charger we have and the generator we have, it should work, but when we decided to never do that again, it's been working for like 2 years now and hasn't fried. So
Alan would like to know, how many motors have you replaced? What has been the primary cause of failures? And is there a way to prevent it?
Okay, so this is the first motor I've actually no. The first time I replaced this motor was because I forgot to disconnect the shore water on our boat before we left for to go cruising. And the entire bilge filled up with water and almost sank the boat. And this motor was underwater for hours and electrified. So it died. Then we got this one, which was a whole new unit. And then that motor has been since we left. Move the light?
Yeah.
Yes. So this motor's been since we left Baltimore. And this motor died when we got to Pavón de Varzim in Portugal.
Portugal.
And we've been running on just this one motor the whole way down the Portuguese coast to Morocco, through Spain, and now
Gibraltar.
Yeah, all of that's been on just this one motor. So having a dead motor just means that the other ones drag, but it still runs and it still spins, so it still worked. Just we only had 10 kilowatts instead of 20. That was the whole thing.
Except for the time that it miraculously came back to life when we were about to hit a beach. No? Never mind, I was mistaken.
So that's pretty much it. We've replaced this part like several times. None of the other pieces have failed, except this motor. So when did it fail? We didn't realize it because when you turn on the motor, it makes no noise. So then this guy has a green LED that blinks. Actually, here. So I turn it on. There's the clicks of the 2 solenoids, and then on the side there's a little green LED light, and you can kind of see a faint glow of green here.
Yep.
So that is steady, which means it's working. When they flash, it means something's bad. And it was flashing, I think 7 or 15, a long number of times. And based on that code, it meant that stuff was wrong, most likely the motor.
So electric motors are super quiet anyway, and they don't really tell you when something's wrong like a diesel does. You can easily hear or smell when something's very wrong. But we only knew something was wrong when we started her up and didn't get the amount of torque that we usually get.
Yeah, we throttled the, turn into the wind to get out of the marina, and it just didn't have the go. So that's... And then we looked at the gauge, and it said it was only getting up to 10 kilowatts. I'm like, oh, that's not right.
Not normal.
Yeah, so that's, otherwise we wouldn't have known it was dead. What killed it, we don't know. I think corrosion, just from salt, because we've had salt water in our bilge, as most boats do. And we've had a couple times, so actually when we relocated the bilge pump outlet to the side of the hull instead of in the back, when we were in the Bahamas, we ran the bilge pump. The through hull was actually just awash. So when we ran the bilge pump, it just primed the siphon, and then it started filling the bilge back. And I heard sloshing, and it was that the shaft was like splashing in the water. So that was throwing salt everywhere. The motors didn't go underwater, thankfully. But yeah, that's why as soon as we did, we moved that through hull.
Electronics and saltwater environment doesn't really mix very well.
Yeah. Does anyone want to hear it fire up? I can't see it.
So far, no one has said it.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Corey says yes.
Okay.
Sure, Patrick says. Since the motors are air-cooled, do you get any corrosion issues internally?
I do not know. Yeah, they run. They've been running for 3 years, and then that one just died.
Kim Young says, presumably your boat originally had a diesel inboard.
Yes.
Was that in the same bay as the motors are now?
Okay.
That's a good question.
All right, so actually, if you want to look down at the floor.
Looking down.
Okay.
Don't worry, guys. We'll get her running in a sec.
Yeah, so this was where the transmission was, because that was the size of our transmission. And then, if you go further back.
Do-do-do.
So from this board, all the way, keep going, all the way to there, and then all the way across was our diesel. So that is now batteries.
So in conclusion, the electric motor takes up maybe a fifth, sixth of what the diesel took up. However, all that space was not saved.
Yeah, it's all batteries now. And then the whole argument of, well, so this motor weighs 120 pounds and our diesel motor weighed almost 800 pounds. So huge weight savings. But then you throw in the batteries. We have 8 Group 31 batteries. Each one's about 67 pounds. So the weight comes up to be, I think, around 700 pounds again, or something, or 500 some odd. It's pretty much a wash.
It balances out.
Throw in the batteries into the motor weight.
And that also depends on the type of batteries you have.
Yes.
So we do not have lithium batteries, which would be the best option.
Lithium is... I want to build a lithium bank when we hit the US, because
as soon as we can afford it, and as soon as the lithium batteries come down in price, we'll definitely jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah, so I'm hoping by the time we get to Florida, I can buy lithium cells for pretty cheap compared to how much they are now, and build a lithium bank. But yeah. All right, fire it up.
1 sec. Daniel K says, did you look for a golf cart motor? Or something much cheaper?
Yeah, okay, all right. So this is going to sound kind of underhanded, but so these motors are by Montenergy, which is a brand of motor, and they're really good motors. And I was actually going to just build my own electric motor, and I was looking at, well, how do the other people do it? And because I was originally looking at Thusa and a couple other brands, Ocean Volt, and they were just stupid expensive. Like a Thusa motor was $20,000 for the motor. Then you buy your batteries, and then you have to install it, and it's like, no. So I would just buy a motor, it would be cheaper. And this motor at the time was the same price. It was $500 more than if I bought just the parts, but not including the frame to mount everything. So I figured for $500, I also get a frame, plus I get, engineering and tech support with it. So that's why we bought this motor. But I was looking around at just building my own electric motor.
Ricky, you are correct. It is the Electric Yacht Quiet Torque 220.
Yep.
And any idea how much power you get at 4 knots, 5 knots, 6 knots? Remember correctly, you use regen. And that is correct, Jack Perry. We do use regen.
Yeah, so we actually have the worst setup for regen. So we have the prop inside an aperture behind a full keel, so we don't get as much power as other people. I met a guy who usually when he's sailing, he's producing a full kilowatt. We don't do that. I think the highest we've gotten is like 0.3 kilowatts. So usually we can expect to get between 4 to 6 amps at 48 volts. So that's times 4 for 12 volts. So we're talking 16 to 20 amps. Nope, 16 to 24 amps in 12 volt DC. So it's a good, it actually ran the fridge the whole way across the Atlantic. So it's some good power that we get out of it, but it's nothing by comparison to what other people are getting. They're getting double-digit amps. And
so we also have solar power.
Yeah, so we have solar to supplement it. And now that we have a bigger solar bank or solar array, we turn the regen on if we need it, because you do lose some speed. It's about a knot and a half that gets sucked off when you turn on the regen.
So Patrick, yes, it is the hydro generator that we're talking about.
Yes. Now, one huge thing that's been really nice, if we're in a really big following sea, and doesn't matter if we need the power, we'll turn on the regen, and it acts as a drogue because you're now dragging that propeller. And we found that instead of surfing down and smashing into waves and then doing it again over and over, it just slowed the boat down, just made it. It was like a drogue. It was just dragged back there, and the boat just, everything went so much smoother. So we use regen for storms too, because
Ricky's asking how many knots for that full kilowatt.
Oh, to produce. They were getting that at 6 knots, but this was on a boat. The guy had like a 20-inch propeller, and it was a sail drive unit. So it was like the best setup for an electric motor for regen, where we have a 16-inch prop. So the larger your prop diameter, the longer your lever arm, and then the more torque that you can create to create more power. So, yeah.
Now we should probably talk about how long we can run the motor and...
Oh, yes. Actually, well, it'll show that on the display.
Okay, you want to show the display?
Yes, let's show the display. All right. Fair warning, we did laundry today. We have some sheets out there that are drying. And I also repaired our trisole that ripped. So the cockpit's...
The cockpit is full of sail.
This is why I had the boards in so you guys would see.
Thanks, Sun Green. Let us know if you have any other extra questions that we're not hitting on.
Sheets, trisole.
I'm going to stay down here and watch you run it first.
Yep,
and then I'll hand you guys up. So let's see this baby run. And you'll be hearing it at full capacity. So usually when we hear it, it's both under a bunch of coverings and also under these really thick floorboards we have. So it sounds nothing like this when we hear it. Okay, so we're setting it at 10 amps because that's what we're usually running it at, which usually gets us about 2 knots.
There it is.
All right, so that's our usual, again, about 2 knots, and that's just so that we can run it for a really extended period of time.
Yeah, so that'll give us 20 hours.
About 20 hours of runtime at this level.
Ready for more?
Yeah, and now here we're gonna have more. All right. So this is at 50 amps, guys. 50 amps. 2.3? Yeah, okay, 2.3 kilowatts.
Like 3 horsepower.
So this is about 3 horsepower right now. And at this point, we could run for about 3.5 hours. Hola! All right, here we are going at about full throttle. Not yet. 100 kilowatts? Amps, sorry. This is 100 amps, guys. 4.7 kilowatts. 1.5 hours here. We could run this for 1.2 hours, excuse me. And now we're gonna hit full throttle. Okay? So we could do that for about 20 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, low vibration, no smell whatsoever. No, nothing like that. Oof. All right.
How you doing?
I think I'm like 90 years old.
Yeah. So that's the motor. It spins. That's about all it really does.
I forgot, how large was your 48 volt battery pack in amps?
It's 200 amp hours.
Yep.
Yeah. So the motor at full speed draws 400 amps, and therefore your 200 amps get sucked up in a half hour.
Yeah. So that's that. That's the motor, guys. And you know, we love it so much for its lack of sound, because that's the vibration, but it's fully
and lack of maintenance.
Oh, yeah.
So to do maintenance on it, oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to shove the camera down in the bilge for a second for you guys. Okay, so you know your diesel, you have to change the oil every 50 hours or something, whatever it is. I've had a diesel in so long. But, so this guy, once a year, have to grease 2 couplings.
All right, hang on. We've got a couple questions here.
Questions.
First of all, where are you docked? And the answer to that is El Marimar, southern Spain, El Ejido. I missed the beginning. How much was the electric engine?
Oh, we actually didn't say that. So when we bought it, it was $8,000. Now I think it's just shy of $10,000.
Dollars.
Yeah, dollars.
Do you have to replace brushes occasionally?
No, they're brushless motors, so there's really no maintenance. Until a motor dies, there's no maintenance. Except for those grease couplings, that's once a year.
So, no to do you carry a spare brush set?
That's correct.
Any other maintenance? Just answered.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes if you got some water in your bilge and it splashed on the belts, they will squeak a lot. So while you're running and your prop's spinning, it's just like meet. It'll drive me crazy. So WD-40, you just spray it on the belt, shuts it right up.
So very,
nice.
Very low maintenance.
Yeah, the maintenance is really for me.
All
I'm
right.
high maintenance apparently.
Have you thought about the new carbon foam batteries?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Same size. That was a short answer.
The Firefly batteries?
Ricky has 16 of them.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yes, I quite like them.
Isn't WD-40 hostile to the belt material?
So I asked the manufacturer because I don't want to do that. They're neoprene, I believe. They're a material that is WD-40 is okay for. I strongly believe it's neoprene. Yeah. But yes, WD-40 is fine to squirt on it. Because I did ask that before I did anything.
48-volt battery and a 12-volt system? Question mark.
Oh, yeah. So we have a step-down converter. Let's actually go over to that.
Yeah. We're going to the step-down converter.
Stepping down. Marching in. Whoosh.
That was close.
Went bad.
You guys can see our new salon cushions.
Yes, these aren't in the videos yet.
Nope.
The videos are still in a van. Okay. Oh, can I have the Lucy?
Yeah.
I'll hold
If I can find it. Oh, yeah. You hold that.
Yep.
Oop, careful.
Hi. How are you guys?
Here's the light.
Thanks. Okay. So, this is our electrical cabinet.
Was the install painful? I hear the alignment of the propeller shaft and the engines is tricky.
So I actually had to realign the motor and shaft. It wasn't that bad.
He realigned it like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I don't know if you should, but I used a crowbar for leverage, and you just like on the side of the motor mounts, like motor mount the hull and just put a little piece of driftwood in there to not hurt the hull, and just push it until it's perfect. And I used calipers, so I split the coupling apart, and then with calipers I just measured it, the 4 cardinal points, and when they were identical in measurement, which on mine ended up being 11.1 millimeters, then they're aligned, and you just slap them together, bolt them up. So video, that's gonna be in a video, but, who knows when. Yeah.
Stay tuned for the next few months.
Yeah, the van video.
Guys, I just want to take this opportunity to mention that there are 78 of you, and thank you so much for being here. And if you could just hit that like button, that would be awesome. It really helps the YouTube algorithm to notice us when you hit that like button. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so this is how I keep my manuals for things in here. So in case something goes wrong, I know what the weird flashing lights mean. Yeah. Okay, so this is our electrical cabinet with a water pump in there because, boats. So, yes. So the converter, we have a switch here. Can they see the switch? Okay, so this switch turns on and off the Victron. And then we have, this is the house bank. And then this is one of our solar panels. We can have it go to the motor bank or to the house bank. So, and then these are the solar controllers. So, this is our step down converter. So it goes from 48 volt down to 12 volts. So if we need power, or if we, sailing and we want to run the fridge off the motor bank, we just turn on the converter.
Which is what we do when we're regenning, like with the hydro regen.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. So the motor bank's full. We don't need any more power. So we just siphon it off to the house bank. Now we can't go backwards. It's one way.
Have we seen the solar setup the O'Kellys did? I have not. Have you?
I have not either.
Okay.
So yes, that is our bin. So you'll frequently, actually I don't know if they're ever in the videos, but it's like, hey, turn on the converter or turn it off now, and yada yada.
That's something Herbie says to me a lot.
Yep. Oh, these go in here. Yeah, so these are the manuals to them.
Do you use an inverter too, or only 12 volt devices?
Only 12 volt devices.
Say that again to the camera so they hear.
Only 12 volt devices. We actually have an inverter. Did you know we have an inverter?
No.
Can I have the camera?
You may.
Yes.
Careful.
Yes. So, our inverter is in that box.
Aren't you all glad you saw that?
It's, it's, then you, all right, so this is my gripe with inverters. You have an inverter, then you get more appliances because you can, and then you need more power to run them, so then you have to get more solar and then more batteries, and then you get another appliance, now you need more solar, and it's just, so yeah, we just 12 volt.
Yes, go to the Balearics. We are, but not with wisdom. That's, we'll give you guys an update of our situation at the end of this video.
Yes.
And, would like to chat. You're doing what I'm almost ready to spot. Oh, good, Christopher. Yeah, love to chat with you. If any of you, are thinking of doing this, let me turn it to me. If any of you are considering this setup or anything like it, we are very happy always to chat on WhatsApp, to email, or whatever you need. All of our contact info is in the description of our videos, and please do feel free to rack our brains and let us know if you have any further questions. And now I'm going to sit down.
Yes.
Sorry about the shakiness of this video, guys. I'm like holding you on a cell phone, on a candle, on a thing.
No, but actually, she's on. Can I do a camera on this?
I don't know.
This is the setup. It's a candle inside a mason jar with the camera clamped onto it to hold the cell phone. Oh, my mom. Hi.
Okay, I have a new... Christopher says, I have a new to me Cape Dory 27. Nice. That's down to one working group 24 battery. Oof. With no solar. What type of batteries, size, and technology would you suggest to start with?
Okay.
Sorry for my hand. Sorry.
So my personal opinion, if cost is an issue, is AGM, because they're so cheap compared to the others, and you get more depth of discharge. So with the lead acid, this is going to be that's Morty, by the way. But this will be a battery. So full charge and then discharged, right? So with a lead acid battery, you can take it down to about here. Anything further discharged, you're going to start killing your battery. With an AGM, you get to about there. So you get some more juice out of it. And a lithium, you can take like almost all the way. So lithium's great if you can afford it, but it's also really expensive. If you are looking at lithium like I am, there's a Chinese manufacturer of lithium batteries for airplanes, to fly electric-powered airplanes. They are, it's CALB, CALB, and a bunch of Chinese symbols. And then it's that's actually what we're looking at doing when we hit Florida. So if you're in the US, lithium batteries are cheaper than if you're in Europe.
Now, that being said, we're not going to hit Florida for another year.
Yeah.
So everything changes, especially with batteries and technology. Prices come down, new technology is created.
Eastport, Maine.
Oh, nice.
Christopher's in Maine, yes.
Awesome. So all of this might change once we do get to Florida, but for now, lithium is on our dream list.
Yeah, so, yeah. I've been looking at carbon batteries, but like, you can get lithium through thunderstruckev.com for quite cheap. And then you can also get used lithium, which is really cheap.
Do you use 220/110 to charge the batteries while docked from the generator? That's a good question.
So yes, in Europe, everything here is 220, so we had to do something. And our battery charger died on our way to the Azores. So when we got to the Azores, or Portugal, somewhere we were, we got a battery charger that is 110 or 220. So we literally, that's why we have an extension cord into the boat, because I just plug the battery charger into the cord.
Ricky Tapper will have just finished his refit when we arrive. Oh, you're in Fort Lauderdale. That's awesome. We're going to have to come visit you.
Yeah.
We're really hoping to kind of, as soon as we hit Florida, we're hoping to just kind of like meet up with as many people as we can. So that'll be really exciting.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Oh, sorry.
You have to read it out loud.
Yes. It's just me going, Yeah, so Alan Underdunk was saying that lithium titanate on eBay is 6 times more life cycles than lithium iron phosphate. And he bought, Graham Smith says he bought polynovel lithium batteries from Alibaba. And they're cheaper than in Europe. Oh, nice.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so believe me, when
dinner on you.
Yeah.
We'll hold you to that, Ricky. Can't wait to see you.
When we get to Florida and are going to be doing the batteries, believe me, I'm going to be asking you guys for like every tip if someone knows of anything, because
the best source of information for us is you guys.
Yeah.
Which is ironic.
Irony. Yeah.
So, I think it's worth mentioning why we made the switch from diesel to electric, because that was probably the most difficult part of this entire...
Yeah, it's usually everyone asks us, did you do this by choice or did the boat just come that way? Which is another way of saying, are you stupid?
We did do it by choice. It was not whim.
Yeah, it was well thought.
Really thought out slew of batteries. Excellent.
Wait, we want to read it out loud?
Oh. Also, a whole slew of new battery tech is emerging. Yes, exactly.
The solid states.
Yeah. Yes. So, anyway, we love your comments, by the way. Keep them coming. So, yes, we were deciding whether to do diesel or electric, and we asked a lot of people. We even asked non-boat people what they would do, because getting all opinions was really important to us.
Yeah, and the overwhelming answer was always diesel, though.
Not necessarily. We had a lot of people mention that electric was the future of boats, and I agree. I think that the future of boats is electric. Hi, guys. Rigging question. Have you... Okay, we'll answer that after this.
And also, completely unrelated, but for SV Fontaine, your boat is still doing fine. I look at its lines every time I walk by it.
So it was not an easy decision to make. Our diesel motor actually broke down.
Well, the diesel ran. The transmission got locked in reverse.
Right. Which was fun.
Yeah, and then, so it was a Volvo Penta, or actually, it wasn't a Volvo Penta, it was a Volvo motor. And the MD-17C, and the only place I could find that sold the shift fork for the transmission was in the UK, and it was like 180 pounds, like pound sterling, to get that piece, which was the piece that I believe was wrong, causing the whole problem. So it was like, all right, we could put like $200 into this.
Or we could put $8,000 into a brand new electric
and then
motor.
not have to deal with the diesel. Because we actually never really ran the diesel because we hated it. Mm-hmm. So we'd like motor out of the marina, turn it off.
I really hated the smell, the sound, everything about it. and so one of the big things for me with going electric was actually environmentally. It just seemed like the smarter decision for the ocean.
Yeah. Because you see a lot of boats, they're like running their motor, doing maintenance, and then this oil slick comes out. It's like,
Yeah.
that's
So
that's a
we're,
thing.
especially sailing, you just become extremely environmentally conscious. So that was a really big draw for us, and that's why our logo is a leaf. Because the electric motor, I mean, we haven't bought diesel in like 5 years.
Okay. So we did buy diesel before we left because our heater runs on diesel. This guy, right there. Does it show it? Yes. Oh, there's hot sauce. Yes. So that guy runs on diesel, and
So we actually still have our diesel tank.
yeah. So we have our diesel tank, and then we've burned about 20 or 30 gallons of diesel in 3 years. So we haven't bought diesel since we left. Yeah. Question was, how much power was it to do 5 knots? Okay. Oh, if regen this one I know. 4 amps is what we get at 5 knots.
With regen.
Yes.
Yes.
Which comes out to be 16 amps when you step it down to 12 volt. So plenty to run the fridge, the radio, all your nav lights, and everything. Yes.
So another reason we went with electric was for future money saving. Yes, it cost us a lot at that moment, but we've saved so much on not having to buy diesel.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much we've actually saved because we tend to sail and only sail and not motor, which is another reason we got the electric motor, because it would actually force us to do more pure sailing instead of motoring. There have been moments, if you guys have been watching our channel for a long time,
where we sit.
Where we just sit and do nothing and go nowhere.
And wait for the wind.
That is just part of the adventure for us. Other people may have wished at that moment that they had a diesel motor so they could just go through those doldrums, and I think we also wished that in those moments, but looking back, it made us feel so much better crossing the Atlantic, knowing that we had not motored at all.
Yeah, we sailed across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And also, I must say, on those days when it's totally becalmed, the coolest sea critters come out to the boat. Like, if you're motoring, you'd miss them.
Yeah, it's sea creatures, the stars, the water is incredible. Okay, so Christopher K says, when you cross the Atlantic, if you end up in the Caribbean, yes, visit Montserrat. I'll put you up. Have a small fixer-up villa.
So we appreciate the offer, but we've actually been discussing our route when we go back, and we're going to go straight to the BVI.
Yeah.
Because, one, Corona.
Well, we'll talk about it in more detail when we talk about our future plans at the end of this video.
Okay, so I've actually read a lot of the parties books, which was the other reason why we're like, we can do the electric and not worry about having a motor, because they've gone around the world multiple times.
As have so many others before motors even existed. So it really gives us a chance to kind of touch back on our sailing roots as humans and to just return to the old ways.
Okay. Other question. So this is about the solar panel. So Joshua was asking, hey guys, glad you're doing well. Do you have 4 12 volt solar panels in series to make up a 48 volt system? And no, we actually have a single 12 volt panel.
Oh yeah.
That's then run to a step-up converter by Genasun, and it's our solar charge controller. And it steps it up to 48 volts. So it cuts the amperage by a quarter, but it charges the motor up.
Okay. NX Wilson says, hi, what's your regen power in watts?
Oh,
if you're sailing at 5 knots, for example.
I can do the math to tell you.
Yeah.
It's... Oh yeah, your password is so long.
Sorry, guys. I'm just reading through your comments, catching up here, so I don't miss anything.
So we have 4 amps. Volts. And then 48.
Okay, sorry if I skipped over any of your questions. Please feel free to ask them again.
Okay, so The wattage should be 192 watts, roughly, at 5 knots, which would give you the 4 amps at 48 volts.
Okay, here's that rigging question from SV Fontaine.
Yes.
Hi guys, rigging question. Have you had to buy Dynamo while you're in Europe?
So actually we recently bought some Dynamo while we were in the States, and we bought it from the UK. So
Or we have it shipped.
We had it shipped to Baltimore,
Then
and then we flew with it here.
Seems a little bit.
Yeah. I just didn't know where we could have the rigging mailed here. So it's for the inner forestay that we just replaced.
So the Almerimar is a huge marina, and the mailing system here is a little sketchy.
The mail system is literally, there's a room where they dump it in a corner. It's not ducks. It's actually DM20 from DSM, and it's sold by Marlowe. So ducks is now outdated. I wouldn't actually go with ducks today. At the time, like 5-6 years ago, ducks was the equivalent to all the others, which were all the top. And now there's a new generation of Dynamo that's much better.
Jeff says a lot of people don't get that it's sailboat with an auxiliary power source. And we'll say, yes, that is our philosophy as well. But I do understand, like, we have the luxury of time. So for us, we're able to do this kind of thing. But I completely understand sailors who want to get out there and sail, but don't have unlimited amounts of time. So for them, a diesel motor is really better. Yeah,
so actually one of my friends, he sailed from Isla Mujeres in Mexico to Florida, and like to Key Biscayne. And he did it in 51 hours. The first day, he had current and wind behind him, and he was just, booking it. He did 180 miles the first day. The second day, the wind was on the nose, so he just motored and got there really quick, where we would have just taken like a week. So, yeah.
So it really is different. I mean, that's why we don't recommend electric motors to everybody. For us, it has worked out incredibly well because we have years to get places.
And also this trip that started as a 9-month voyage, we're now 3 years.
It'll be 3 years officially on July 10th. So we left July 10th, 2017 for a 9-month journey.
To the Caribbean.
We still haven't gotten to the Caribbean. So, guys, let us know if you have any other questions about the electric motor before we go on to just telling you about our future plans here and what's going on right now.
Wind over water.
Oh, hi, Wind Over Water. Hey, guys. We love you guys. You guys must be glad to get back to the boat again.
Very much.
Enjoyed your RV vids. When do you start sailing again? Yeah, right now the episodes are all about our camper van.
Yeah.
And we had an incredible time in our camper van, but like you said, it's not sailing. So our viewership is way down.
So right now we're back at the boat.
Yes.
But Spain is still in their draconian lockdown.
Yes.
So you actually can't actually go anywhere. So we're still here.
12 volt to 48 to 12.
Yes.
Is very efficient.
Inefficient.
Oh, inefficient. Any plans to get more solar panels to get 48 volts directly?
Yeah, that would be nice, but we don't have the space.
Unfortunately, we have currently the largest solar panels that make sense for our boat.
Yeah.
And only 2 of them.
If we had more panels, then yes, we would have hooked them up in series and had a 48 volt system, and it would have been a lot easier. But we don't.
Using a step-up converter was my original idea. Seems much more robust setup. Do you have any comments about it, or it's just worked?
Yeah.
Would it work with wind links? Wind links.
Wind. Then links.
I see now.
Okay. So the solar controller we have is Genasun, because they are pretty inexpensive for an MPPT, I think is what it's called. They're really inexpensive, and they just work. Like, I actually don't really look in there. So it flashes to tell you stuff, like, if you're getting so many amps or not. But it just works, so we really don't worry about it. So I highly recommend Genasun. It is not paid promotion. We bought them before we even started the channel. they've
I
just
wish it were a
worked.
paid promotion.
Yeah, I'd love to get more from them. But yeah, so they work really well. So we have the Genasun. It's the boost is the one that jumps up to 48 volt, and then yeah, what was the other part of the question?
Wind.
Oh, I hate the sound of wind generators.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
It's really petty, but we
Yeah.
and we also never find ourselves hurting for power.
Yeah.
Honestly, with what we have, we use so little power. We don't have a water maker.
Oh, which actually, fun story. All of our friends right now have water makers, and
they are
all
all
of them
working
are
on
working
them.
on them. They all are broken and fixing, and it's like, yep.
So
we're
we
not
don't
doing that.
we don't actually use very much power for somebody with an electric motor, and we don't use our motor for
Yeah.
someone with a motor.
Yeah.
So we actually only use our motor for docking.
Yeah.
So that's why it works so well for us.
Yeah.
And
If we wanted the motor really
Yeah.
far.
so we don't find ourselves hurting for power ever, really.
Yeah. Now, you guys remember our struggles in the ICW. That's when yeah. So that's the other reason why we are going to do lithium when we get to the ICW. That way we can make it up the ICW in a more sophisticated manner.
Yeah, so wind generators, we've thought about them. We don't really need one, and they kind of annoy us.
Yeah.
So-
now we have been on one boat, and the guy had a wind gen,
You
and we
couldn't
didn't
even hear it.
Oh,
What have I done?
cancel.
Okay.
We didn't even know he had one, and then it was on it. So that one was nice and quiet. I just can't remember what it was called because I really didn't have much interest in it. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's the answer to that.
Okay, small DC gen set. Yes, so DC generators are expensive, which is why we have a Honda, because a Honda costs
$1,000.
Yeah, and a DC generator, when I was looking at them, they started around $6,000. So that's all. It was just price. But
Yeah, and our little Honda has lasted longer than we thought it would.
yeah, and then
It has never been inside. It's been on our stern this whole time.
yes. Now we do keep it wrapped in a sunbrella bag, so that has helped. When we were in the Azores, for $100 we bought a diesel generator that we were gonna fix and put in the boat, and then shortly after decided we don't want to do that, and then
We
gave
gave
it away. So
It was
yeah.
so heavy. It was so heavy, so
Oh.
big.
Yeah, so I gave it to a friend who loves tinkering and mechanics,
Yeah.
and he like took it apart and was super excited to get it running. He actually never got it running. It was pretty bad.
We have regrets
Yeah.
buying that one.
Yeah. So anyway.
So, are there any other questions about the electric motor, our system
we gotta
setup?
show them the
You want to show them the?
Yes.
Okay.
So the
we're
way-
gonna take you guys outside for a sec.
yeah, so this is how we're like, oh, we can run for so much time and so much. This is how.
We're gonna take you outside into our really messy cockpit, so that you can see the controller.
Yes. Oh, but first,
Just stubbed my toe.
careful with the giant hole in the boat.
Yeah.
Okay. So wait, really fast.
Did you consider no engine and no motor?
Yes.
We did consider that. However, in Europe, it's not legal to pull in anywhere.
Yeah, you can't come into a marina without a motor.
Without a motor.
So, yeah, but that's actually why I built that sculling oar, because I didn't want a motor at all. So I got the electric because Maddie wanted a motor.
And good thing too, because
then, yeah.
I mean,
It's been nice.
yeah, we've ended up in a lot of marinas, even though we love anchoring and prefer to anchor. There are some places that just don't have anchorages, especially here in Europe. And so having our electric motor has really saved our bacon.
Yeah, so Serge St. Pierre was saying that marinas don't allow you to sail in them. And yes, they always yell at us because
Because we always sail into them.
we sail in anyway because we need to save our power. But so, hey, wait. So I made a grommet. I made 4.
He's very proud of his grommet.
Yes, this was my second or third one. This one was pretty, but not as pretty as the one I used on our sail.
So anyway,
Out we go.
You wanna? Let's see. How are we
Why
gonna
don't
do
you
this?
just unplug it? Whoop! It's on. Just
All right,
unplug
I'm
the
just
phone.
gonna unplug the phone here.
Yeah.
This is really special. Okay, we're keeping you on the candle. I'm wearing my Cheese the Day shirt, which is purely coincidental. But if you guys want to check out our shirts and stuff, they're all for sale. You can see them in a link by this video.
Midge.
Ugh.
Show them the
Oh,
sail.
we're out in the sunlight.
I did a sail repair. So we made a sewn-in grommet for our trysail. Completely unrelated to the motor, but this is our real motor.
Okay, so here we are in beautiful sunny El Marimar, and I'm gonna turn you guys away from me and towards what you really want to see, not my face.
Okay, so this is,
Yeah.
you got, does it show? Can you zoom in with this?
No.
No? Okay.
Pardon us.
Wait.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that's our,
Is that better? Yeah.
it shows it. Hey Wooster, names for the motor, Beelian strips, great first time video. Cool.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, so in Europe, well, wait, super fast. That over there is our, behind the solar panel. That guy there is our pedestal. Everything's 220 here. So we have our, we literally just plug the extension cord into our battery charger. And then from the step-down converter, we can charge the house bank. All right, so this is
That's our controller.
not legible. There it is. Okay.
5-1.
Wait, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so this is the battery's voltage. So it's 51.54 right now. When you have the motor off, it still reads that it's drawing some power because it just does, but it's not. This is how long this is how much power the motor is drawing in kilowatts. This is how long you can run it at that speed. Up here is how many amps you're using, what percentage your batteries are, and then the RPM. Honestly, I do not look at the RPM because I don't care. We just look at amps because that's the number that matters. Do you mind shielding the sun on like this side?
I don't know where it is.
I think it's like behind me. Okay, so we're putting it forward. So,
All right, so the motor is in.
yeah, it's going.
It's on.
Let's see. So this is, let me try and get the 10 amps. Okay, so that's about 10 amps. And you can see that at 10 amps, oh, no, that's a little less. All right, so around 10 amps, we're doing like half a horsepower. And that's how we usually run, so. And you can see at the bottom, it says 15.1, 14.8, stuff like that. So that's how many hours we could go at that speed. So this gives us about 2 knots and.
You should show them the switch.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
So that's
So
the
through
throttle
our
quadrant.
bicycles, folks.
Yes, we have our bike in the cockpit because they stole our other bike from behind the boat. But yes, so the throttle quadrant. Yeah, I'm gonna move the bike.
No, it's all right.
Hold this.
Okay.
Get it out of here.
So, my bicycle got stolen the other day. It was locked to the back area on the sidewalk, and it walked away. So that's why we have our bike in our cockpit now.
And we raised the gangplank at night. Okay, so throttle quadrant. Hardly forward, and this is at 12 amps. There. Stuff. Okay, so now we're going to up it. So let's kick it up to about 50 amps. So as you can see, to do that, it's literally just a smidge forward. All right, so there we're about 50 amps. And at 50 amps, oh, rusty bike spokes. Does the display show negative draw when you're regenerating? Yes, it actually puts a little positive in front of the amps and the kilowatt. So that's 65 amps, and you can see we can do this for 2.2 hours, and it's producing 3 kilowatts. Now, the other thing, I'm gonna show you guys the prop wash. Yeah, don't throw up with the camera shaking. Oh. Okay. So you can see it's, water's spitting out the back. It does its thing. You want to kick it full throttle? So Maddie's going to rev it up all the way. So it pushes water, and that moves the boat. And at that rate, we could do it, the display will say 0.3. So it's about 20 minutes. Oh boy. Hey, could you lower the gangplank? This is our marina setup, if anyone was curious. So, any other questions about the electric motor? Thanks, babe. Thank you. I see land hose. Yeah, there's some land hose around the marina. They
right,
usually come around at night.
Let's go back inside
Okay.
and wrap this baby
Yes,
up.
yes, yes. Here's the camera. Yeah, so expense of the marina was the question. And it's not, so this is actually, oh wait, I'll just wait till we're in there.
I'm trying to get, okay. So sorry for the shakiness, guys. I'm trying to turn the camera around. Okay.
Oh, wait. Show the power cable.
What?
So this is our shore power cable. It comes into this extension cord, and then we have it go to a universal adapter to our US plug. So literally the shore power is an iPhone charger.
Okay. Where's our candle?
Science.
Our trusty candle.
Yeah, I'll get that.
Okay.
Outside.
Oh. So glad that you all joined us for this. I did not expect such a good turnout, especially in the middle of the day.
Oh yes, happy work days.
Okay, getting set back up here.
Okay.
We're gonna conclude this video because I know it's running a little long. Okay, but Herbie had a question he was gonna answer.
Yes. So the question was about the costs of the marinas. In the Med, they are stupid expensive.
They're very expensive, but we're actually currently in the cheapest marina in the Med.
According to this marina.
Which I think is true.
Yeah. It was much cheaper than all the ones we'd seen.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they are the actual cheapest, but it's quite cheap. Now there's, hey, Jessica and Ryan.
Hey,
Hello.
guys.
So with the marinas, they have their winter rates and their summer rates. And the winter rates are really cheap, and the summer rates are insane.
I'll bring this down a little. Boop.
Do you put shore power through a galvanic isolator? No. It literally is an extension cord into the boat. Yeah. Cool thing about the motor. So the motor itself is actually electrically isolated from everything. So it is its own little entity. And then it attaches to the shaft by rubber belts or neoprene belts. So the shaft and the propeller are not, they're electrically neutral. And we don't have a bonded boat. So the through hulls, all that, none of it's attached to the electrics. So we've actually, with the old diesel motor, we would literally, the anode would get eaten up in under 6 months. So every time I'd pull out for a short haul, the anode was gone. And now we replace them yearly. They still look new. I replace them because they're a year old. So that's a nifty thing.
Any special insurance required for the marina, asks Ricky.
All you need is liability insurance, which is all that
and
we
you need
actually
that
have.
in every marina, always. Sorry, guys. Our candle is falling over. Hey, yeah, okay. So, today would be my 40th college reunion. Aw, should be in Massachusetts. I'm sorry to hear that. It's actually...
Oof. Yeah, so we were going to be leaving the marina because the summer rates kick in and it gets expensive. But because of COVID, they're extending the winter rate. There's a significant discount, and the winds out there are insane. Like,
we have friends like Mothership Adrift who did leave the marina, and they are struggling right now in their anchorage.
So in their anchorage, the wind was so strong, it picked their dinghy up airborne and then flipped it over with the outboard on it. So guys, just to conclude, we're just going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing now, what our future plans are, and what you can expect from us. And so right now, as you know, we are in southern Spain, back in our boat. Oh, our storm anchor Depends which one we want to put for it.
We have many.
Yeah, we have a 65-pound Mantis. We have a 33-pound Bruce, which is in a locker, and then we have the FX37, which is the equivalent of an 85-pound anchor, I believe.
We also have a parachute anchor.
And then then we have a parachute anchor that's 16 or 18 feet diameter. So yes, many anchors.
So we're in this marina here. We don't want to be in this marina. We're just waiting for this travel ban to end. Now, a lot of people have asked us whether we're going further into the Med, and the answer is no. And that's not because we don't want to.
It's because the winds are horrible in the Med.
It's because the winds, since we have our electric motor, we are at a very large disadvantage, actually.
So what we found, the way people get around the Med is there's no wind. Like today, it's gorgeous out. And then tomorrow, there's supposed to be 35 knots of wind. And then a couple days later, no wind. And it's just like, that's how it goes.
So it just goes from heavy, heavy, heavy wind in the wrong direction.
Well,
right direction for going in.
Yeah. But it's just like tons of wind, no wind. Yeah, so what people do is they wait, and in the gaps, they motor really quick, get to the next harbor, and then the wind comes again.
Yeah.
So no one actually sails the Med.
We don't have that ability, so therefore we are not going to be going further into the Med. That being said, we have made some very good friends in this marina, and we might be going
hopefully
next week. We may be sailing on one of their incredible boats with them to the Balearics.
Yes.
So, and that would be a really big adventure. We're going to bring you guys along with us, and you will get to experience sailing on a different boat with us, which I'm really excited about. I hope it works out, but we'll see. It's a little bit up in the air right now. How to size a system to a boat. I'm considering a 43 full keel boat.
Yes, the best way to do that.
Good consideration, by the way.
Yes. The best way to size the system is to contact Electric Yachts. Mike Gunning is the guy that you would talk to. That's the best way. But a 43-foot is similar to our size, and we're full keel as well, and we have a 20 kilowatt.
Which a lot of people would say is we're very underpowered.
But it's actually 30 horsepower.
It's fine.
Yeah,
for us.
it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
But yeah, definitely contact them, because they are the experts on this. Like, so many questions to these... So many of these questions, I'm like, I don't know what goes on inside the motor. It just works, so I don't worry about it.
So yeah, we may be in the Balearics in about a week, which would be really, really exciting, because we really wanted to see the Balearics.
Yes.
And in the meantime, our boat would stay here in El Marimar.
Close to Gibraltar.
Around mid-July, July 15th, around there.
Yeah, we're paid till July 15th. So.
Around there, we are planning to leave this marina and start heading slowly out of the Med. And we're going to be going by Gibraltar, we're going to go to Madeira, and we're going to go to Cape Verde.
Yep. And
once we get to Cape Verde, we're going to stay there, which is our style. We're going to stay there and explore for a good long time, all the way up until it's time, weather-wise, to cross to the Caribbean. And so we're going to be 100% doing our second Atlantic crossing in November, December.
This winter.
Yeah. So we're really, really excited for that, because our whole goal was to get to the Caribbean, and finally we will be. Try to catch you around the 22nd if you're back.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Of June or July?
Oh yeah, which month? This is our neighbor, right?
Yes.
SV Fontaine? Yeah. June. Then we'll definitely catch you. Maybe, if we're not in the Balearics.
Yeah. But at some point we come back from the Balearics. Yeah.
We will be coming back from the Balearics in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
We really don't know yet.
We really don't know.
Yeah.
So those are our plans, guys.
Yes.
We can't wait to get sailing again. We really can't. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
A really long time.
Well, the boat's been in this marina for 5 months.
Yeah, it's incredible. COVID has affected us a lot, although I will say I am thankful for what we have, and I know that it has affected a lot of other people way more. And I do want to take this moment to recognize Patrick Childress, who passed away from COVID just a couple days ago, and we are really gutted about that. Really sad. So he and Rebecca have been in our thoughts pretty constantly for the past few days.
Yeah.
So from there, we will say that COVID has affected all of us a lot, but we are grateful to be where we are. We're grateful to be in our boat in southern Spain, where in fact COVID has not gotten.
It was here.
In Almerimar, it was in Almerimar.
In this
They
province
said it was
bad.
in the province, yes, but in this marina, 0 cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry if you're just hearing about that from us. But there's a lot of community support for Patrick and Rebecca. And it's been really amazing to see the cruising community come behind her in an incredible way. That's one thing we really love about this community, how supportive they are.
Yeah, so 2 questions that came up. One, Patrick asked if winter crossing the Atlantic would be rough. So in the North Atlantic, if you're going from U.S. to Europe,
yes,
that's horrible.
That would be
That'd
awful.
be the worst. But from Europe to U.S.,
that's the time.
Yeah.
So there are wind patterns, the trade winds, that make crossing at certain times of year optimal, and
also the storms
and hurricane season.
Yeah, so like it would really be nice to cross the Atlantic in June.
Yeah.
But you'd also be running with hurricanes, so that's not so good.
But the good news is you're south, so you're not cold.
It's finally warm.
You're just carried across. They call it the milk run because it's supposed to be just really simple and easy. You've got the wind going the correct direction all the way across.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about isobars or it's just like go.
No doldrums, hopefully.
You got the horse latitudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll show you guys.
Yes.
You'll come with us.
And then the other question was asked and I forgot. What was it? Oh, it was about cleaning the bottom. Do we clean the bottom at the marina primarily and all that? So we used to have West Marine CPP paint because it was cheap. And I had to go in the water and scrape the bottom at least once a month because it was filthy after a month. And that was a thing. And then we've been here in the Azores, we couldn't get that paint and we got Hempel Olympic Plus. And I wasn't too excited about it because there is nothing that'll kill stuff that grows on your bottom, which means everything's going to grow rapidly. But it actually polishes off so quickly that our bottom is completely clean. So that's been awesome. So we had many months in Pavon where it was like everything was covered in that marina and our bottom was spotless. And then all the way here, like
It's been very good.
Yeah, and it's been 5 months in this marina and there were boats with literal beards.
So we clean our bottom as needed.
But no, we haven't. We
don't
haven't need to.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we don't need to right now.
Like literally, not even soft growth.
We'll
like,
probably
this is amazing
we'll probably haul out right before we leave.
Yeah, so it's been a year. We put 3 coats of paint on, and there's spots that it's already worn through all 3 coats. Yeah. So it polishes off really fast.
Yeah.
But it stays clean.
What was the paint? It was Hempel.
Hempel Olympic Plus. It's a German paint. It comes in a 2.5 liter can because not a gallon.
Yep.
Europe.
So guys, I think it's time to wrap this up. I can't believe how many of you are still here. This has been really awesome. Thank you for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. It's been so great to hear from you guys. Patrick.
We clean our bottom as needed, taken out of context. It's pretty good.
That was good. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to hit that like button. And don't forget to share this with your friends if they are interested at all in electric yachts, electric motors, being green, all that kind of stuff. It's been really exciting to hear from you. It's been a while. So I think this was a success and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Stay tuned for lots and lots of how-to videos in the near future. We've been working very hard here.
Many videos.
There's nothing to do except work. So, so thank you guys. We'll see you next time and fair winds.
Ta-ta for now.